Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Breaking Keyfabe. I am your host, Larry, and we have a special guest on here today when she does arrive. Hopefully, Facebook will be cooperative today. We can always hope. Okay, let's see if it will let her on. If not, we'll go to my plan B. Won't work. I accepted your request, Summer. Says adding on my end. I'm hoping it will let you on. Like I said, we'll try it again. I'll restart the live again. If that doesn't work, we'll just go to my plan B. Or I'll try sending you requests. Says adding. Okay, it said connection failed. Now I'm going to send you requests. See if you receive it. See if you receive my request. Check your notifications. And then, like I said, I'll restart the live. And if that doesn't work, we're going to go to my plan B. Did you receive anything? I did send you a invite because it wasn't letting you on from your invite. So says adding. Oh, hello. Summer,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I'm glad it worked.
Well, hey,
Awesome, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fiery Vixen, Summer Rayne. How are you, madam?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited for this interview. I was having fun doing some research in all the places you have been at, and I just like I told Sophia and many others that have been in my pod, you guys have a long career ahead going more places.
Thank you. I can't see you though.
I can't see you either. It does that. It literally does not like us looking at each other until after the show.
Right. Okay. So I'm just talking to a black screen then.
Yes, yes, yes. Just imagine the black screen is me.
That's all right then. That's all right then.
All right, awesome, awesome. I think I'll start off with my beginner question of how did you get into pro wrestling? Were you going to shows and watching beforehand?
Well, to be honest, it was when I was actually like a toddler. I was watching like my brother's old wrestling videos at the time, and I was just basically saying to myself, like, wow, look at these. Like, it was obviously more the men than the women at the time because it was obviously WWF and, like, you had like the Hardy Boys and, Edge and Christian and all that. And I was watching them and I was like, do you know what? I think I was only about 4 or something like that. And I was like, I think I could see myself like that. And nobody took me seriously. And then obviously I kept on watching them and then like I started stealing my brother's ones, like stealing the videos and like watching them myself. And then by the age of like 12 or 13, I was like, I came across a wrestling school like quite close to me, All Star Wrestling. And I literally went there with one of my best friends. And obviously the rest is history because I just love it.
Well, well said, well said. And when you say you stole your brother's videos, was it these their personal videos, or was it like videos that you could find on like a DVD?
It was literally my brother's like videos, like personal videos, like because I had my own video player when I was little. And then like obviously it went into obviously DVDs when we managed to get a DVD player and that, and I just carried on watching them. And then I went to like a
Uh,
few shows when I was
Summer, you cut
little.
out right there. Do you mind restarting what you said? You cut out there.
Oh, did I? Well, I stole my brother's like obviously VHS tapes of obviously wrestling like programs and stuff, and then when we managed to get a DVD player and obviously like WWE started doing them on DVDs, I started watching that, and then when I was old enough, I actually went to a couple of shows, and I just got the itch, and I was looking around for a training school, and obviously there was an age limit. So when I was 13, they were like, "Yeah, that's perfect. You'll be obviously safe enough, and we'll um we'll obviously let you train." And then obviously, like I said, the rest is history.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Welcome Ethan. Welcome Ileana Thorburn. Welcome B More. Yeah, sometimes Ethan, technology is never our friend. That's why I asked her to repeat it just in case nobody else can hear it. So sometimes technology is never our friend.
Well,
Now
no,
when it
never,
comes
never.
to exactly, you know. Also,
Yeah,
welcome Rob Galbraith. Is that how you say his
that's my
name?
partner.
Yeah. What's funny is with the day you hit me up when I woke up, he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this interview with Summer?" And I was like, "She literally hit me up, and I just woke up." I was like,
Yeah,
"Damn."
we literally had the same idea, literally.
Well, I'm honored that you guys came to me, and I'm honored that you even give me the time of day. Ethan said, "I remember being on a show back in Sunderland a while back, and Summer was on there. She's amazing." Getting your props right there.
Oh, thank you.
How do you prepare for a match or a show in general? What's your like ritual to do? Do you like jumpy jacks? Do you work out? Do you watch TV? Do you eat food? Like what?
Well, usually, obviously, the night before, I'm like getting all obviously my wrestling stuff like all packed up, and I usually make sure I've got some chewies like in my suitcase, and I usually have like a chewy beforehand just to get my mind like onto actual what I need to do in the ring. And obviously, you never know, you might have bad breath, so it's an added bonus. But yeah, I don't really do much. It's just when my music hits, I usually do like little bunny hops and getting into the music and basically getting into the Summer Rain character, and yeah, and then I just do my thing, come back and crash.
How do you unwind after a show or a match?
Like after the actual initial match, obviously I'm like gonna down the rest of my drink I had in the locker room. Obviously, like legit just sit down and talk through the match. Like if we miscommunicated on a little bit, I'll be like, how did you feel that went? And we have a little chat about that, like with whoever I've wrestled, and then we can either be like, oh, we can learn from that, and then we get changed into our comfy clothes, and then as soon as I'm home, we either hopefully we have a takeout. If not, we have like good out like sausage and chips and stuff, just like easy things to eat, and then we just chill out after that.
Well said. Welcome, B. More Johnson. And I think he was asking a question when you came to your wrestling videos that you would get from your brothers. Was it on VCR?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Nice, nice. How do you handle the physical demands of wrestling, and how do you recover from an injury if you've had any?
um the only like major injury I've ever sustained since doing wrestling was when I was about 16 or 17. I took a funny move in training, funnily enough, and it was more um like all the ligaments in my neck and shoulder were a bit like bruised and like inflamed. So I was out for a good couple of months. But it didn't bother me as much as it would bother me now. Thankfully, touch wood, I've not had any injuries since that major one. Um, but I've just had the normal, obviously the bumps and the bruises, which I don't really mind.
Understood. Welcome Lucian Graves, welcome Amy Pierce, welcome Peter Law, and welcome Lottie, who you faced on UWA Underground.
Oh yeah. No, I'm only messing. She is a lovely girl.
That's awesome. Now, do you want to tell us more about your training and who your trainers were and how that process went?
Well, I was originally trained by Dino Mark for All Star Wrestling. Um, I was under his tutelage for, I'm not even sure. It was a long, long, long time. And then I was given opportunities from the All Star community to like be a valet, and then I moved on to doing actual shows with another company, EPW. It's called Extreme Pro Wrestling or something. It's called, and they were. I didn't manage to get to their training school because I was still going to All Star. And I did a few of the EPW shows when I was like 16, 17. And then I went to Marty Jones Squared Circle for a bit as well. I still go there occasionally as and when I can because I've got a 3-year-old son, so he takes a lot of time out my day as well. So when I do train, I either go to Marty Jones or I can come to our own promotions training in Firestar. And I've also started up at UWA up in Sunderland every other Friday, as when I obviously as best I can with the baby being annoying in the nicest possible way, of course.
Ethan said, I train there every Monday and it's called Entertainment Pro Wrestling.
Oh, entertainment, my bad, my bad.
Hey, you like to get extreme, what it sounds like, so go for it.
I would if I could, but I've got a baby, so I've got to think about it more.
And you were in I think the most hardcore match that I saw when I looked it up on your stuff was a chain match.
Yes, it was, yeah, with Scarlett at Firestar.
Awesome.
That was quite a hard match.
I have no doubt, and we will be getting into these matches, and you could give us more in depth because I've noticed there's certain people you've like interacted with at certain places, like Scarlett. A lot of the places you've interacted with Sophia and Hayden, Morgan, and Bella seem to be those 4 big reoccurring.
Yeah. All crazy bunch of women. I love them all differently.
Wonderful to hear. And what do you think sets you apart from other wrestlers?
Well, first off, obviously you've got me hair, which is obviously bright orange and black. Um, I I don't look exactly conventional because I don't wear false tan. I very rarely wear a lot of makeup. I've got tattoos. You know, I'm 5'2" and a spit. You know, so I am really small. Um, so people do underestimate me sometimes, but like that's what makes me different because, like I said, my hair's completely different, and obviously, like when I get chatting to people, people are like, "Wow, you really are crazy," because you know I love doing like crazy things, you know, like collecting pop vinyls. I like, you know, playing video games. I like being a nerd, so to speak, but I also like the alternative type fashion. So I'm an all rounder, really.
Well said, well said. And what you want to tell us about your entrance and your entrance music?
My entrance music for me being obviously a good guy is Rascal Flatts' "Life is a Highway," which is from, I didn't realize this. It was from the Disney movie Cars, but because it's like it's slightly altered, so I can use it for obviously for shows. So obviously I don't get flagged up with copyright, and it's quite a bouncy song. Um, and obviously I come out like I've had a bottle of sugar basically, and it's very time consuming like mentally to actually do some proper, obviously high energy things. But like after the match, I'm like, wow, I actually really got the crowd behind me because it's such a I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's an amazing song, everybody needs to listen to it, but like you can actually get behind it because I can't really, it's hard to explain without actually having you listening to it. It's very poppy and it can start people clapping as soon as they start hearing it, which is a good thing. And me being like, if I get the chance to be a bad guy, it can vary like music wise, just depending on where I am. For TNT Explosive, I use In This Moment, Half God, Half Devil, because that's obviously bad guy, heavy rock, and yeah, that tends to stick in people's craws a bit because they don't really like hard rock with a female coming out, and it's a lot better when you're coming out as a bad guy.
Said. Ethan said, I tagged with Bella Alba. She's great too. And I've also trained with Scarlett and also Ben Richardson. Welcome. And he said, one of the loveliest people I've ever met. I'm assuming he's talking about you.
Oh, thanks, Ben. Yeah, no, he's a good fella. He's very he could be one to come on your podcast if he was sane enough.
Oh,
Because
well,
his
I like the
character's very
insane
different. Pardon?
one. I said, I like the insane one, so it's okay.
Yeah, if you send him a message, he'll be more than happy to take you down his crazy character's like origin because he's got a pretty decent one.
I love it. I'm down for that. I'm always welcome to anybody coming on. I love people getting out their story just as you are, and I can't wait to learn more as time goes on.
Yeah.
And you want to tell us about your move set and your style?
My moveset, it depends on obviously who I'm working. If I'm working like a slightly more taller person, should I say? Like a tall, like obviously everyone's taller than me, but women tend to be a bit more taller than me. So I can do like my top rope crossbodies, my hurricane ranas, my head scissors, and I do anything to get them down because obviously when you're standing and in a wrestling match with someone who's bigger than you, you've got to get them down, don't you? So I can do bulldogs, face busters, but if I have to get technical, I will because I can do tech wrestling. As my partner is quite good at technical wrestling. I was taught, like I said, by Marty Jones, and yeah, it's I don't tend to do it all the time, but obviously when I need to, I do. And if I need to say like have a fisticuff match and be really aggressive, then I can be. But obviously I'm not aggressive to the point where like the ref's gonna be telling me to, oh, stop the match, stop the match. But you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of bad summer rain. Let's put it like that.
Most indeed, I wouldn't. Like, you guys are scary to me. You guys would probably kick my ass. So, uh, Tiff Jones said, everyone is taller than you.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much
Do you,
everyone.
everybody, even Sophia?
No, actually, Sophia Sword's a tiny bit smaller than me. Just a teeny tiny bit.
What about
But
Lottie?
Lottie is actually a little bit taller than me, funnily enough.
Okay. You want to tell us about your signatures, not your finishers, but your signatures, the ones that set up for the finisher.
One of my ones I like to do is a like a spike DDT. Like, you know how Lita used to do it in obviously WWE, where you just literally hook them and they bounce on their head. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do that quite a lot. And if you're a slightly taller person, oh, I hate saying taller people, but like if I can fly like from the top rope, it's usually a top rope crossbody. But it just depends on ceiling height in obviously in venues. because obviously nobody wants to go through the ceiling. But yeah, those are my two signatures. But I usually switch them up a little bit, but I can't think off the top of my head which ones I do. But those are the two predominant ones I do. But yeah.
Welcome, Chanel Baltimore. And now you want to tell us about your finishers? Because I've noticed in a lot of your matches you use like the Rampage like page to win.
Yeah, yeah. I do obviously a version of that. I can do the Code Red, which is basically a sunset flip, but it's quite fast, so your opponent doesn't really have time to realize what's happening before they know it, they're getting pinned. I've also got a Tornado DDT, which I hook them obviously round the head and neck, and I'm in the corner and I swing out, and then they land on the red. So yeah, they're my main ones.
Somebody tells me you like to make people land on their head.
Yeah, I do. It's the easy way to get them down. If you can get them down quick enough on the red, they're fine.
Well said, well said. And Chanel Baltimore, this is a pro wrestling interview on Breaking Keyfabe. If you'd like to go check out the past videos, go to on the YouTube channel, and this will be up on YouTube after we are done going live here. And my next question for you is, what's your favorite piece of gear that you've ever had?
Oh my days. My favorite piece is probably the one we have on the do you know the picture advertising us on your Kayfabe podcast with the orange ghosts and the grey splat? That's my favourite so far. As that was obviously it's a custom gear, but the actual ghosts is the original, like a Van Gogh style. So it was originally black and white, but I asked the company who I was going to order it from, like the actual fabric for my gear maker to make. I asked them to change the white of the ghosts to orange, so it was like completely like original. And then obviously my gear maker, Stu Thompson, by the way, just want to put it out there, Stu Thompson, she's absolutely amazing. If you need ring gear, message her. Yeah, she orders them and makes it for me, and she's obviously very affordable, and she's by far my favorite wrestling gear maker. And yeah, the orange skulls and the grey splat is my favorite so far.
Wonderful. Well, shout out to Sue Thompson, as she just said, ring gear maker. If you guys want to go get some good ring gear, go check her out and her stuff.
100%.
What have you learned about yourself through wrestling?
That sometimes you can say things you don't usually say in real life. Like when you're doing promos, sometimes you can really like talk bad about someone in your bad guy gimmick, and then you can get all that badness out, and then you can go back to being like normal Sam, for instance, and you could be like, wow, I've actually like ripped on someone, but I know it's just bad guy character. Like I like the fact that you can like switch doing like I'm not saying like, oh, it's good to insult people. That's not the case. But when you're doing like bad guy promos or even good guy promos and you're saying really good things about people, sometimes it's actually true. Like when I'm like doing good guy promos, I can be like, I can't actually wait to wrestle like Lottie, for instance, or I can't wait to wrestle like someone else, and you're speaking really good about them. It makes me feel like I am actually like being nice about it, you know what I mean? And yeah, it makes you come out your shell a hell of a lot, because I'm not exactly like, I'm not saying like I'm a little bit shy sometimes, but when I actually get to know you, you wish you didn't know me. Because like I said, I am a bit of a nutter. Like I am crazy. You know, you're talking to a person today wearing, you know, a Futurama t-shirt and not giving a crap. You know what I mean?
So that's how you would kind of tell us how your character differs from you in real life.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I can like when I'm being like the good guy, so well the good girl summer so to speak. That's more like the inner me, and like I'm trying to express like the obviously the nicer side of me. And obviously I am nice, but like you're a bit more nicer towards fans. And obviously when you're being a bad guy, you get to bring like I said, the other side out that you never get to bring out in normal everyday life because not everybody wants to be told to shut up or you smell, you know what I mean? So it's 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 hard to explain really because I'm a bit of an awkward human when it comes to like explaining my character because one minute I'm a happy go lucky good guy, the next minute like I want to land you on your head. You know what I mean? So I'm a bit of a Jacqueline Hyde when it comes to describing my gimmick.
No worries. As long as you were able to express any way you can. That's what I made this podcast for. I want you guys to be able to express what you can. There's no judgment here. I'm not a pro wrestler. I'm a big fan. I don't do what you guys do out there. It must be hard work from what I hear from all of y'all. And I'm happy what you guys do. You guys are heroes to me, as I've always stated.
Oh no, much appreciated.
Welcome, Hex. And now that we are kind of on the subject here, do you want to tell us about your favorite times as a heel and face?
Oh, oh goodness me. I'll start off being a good guy because
Okay.
they're easier to remember. Being in my chain match with Scarlett, that was hard for me being a face because you're getting your ass beat obviously with a chain, and when I managed to get like a fire up, I got the crowd behind me, and that's what made me buzz even more. And I love feeling like when I'm in matches with obviously with the heels like beating me up, and then one minute I start getting like the momentum's coming up, and I start getting the crowds behind me. It starts making me feel like, oh my god, I'm on top of the world. I literally feel like Wonder Woman. Like I could literally feel like I could just I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. You get like a proper like a sugar rush, like sugar slash adrenaline rush, and then you obviously you do your moves, and then the crowd goes absolutely ape shit. Excuse me, language, but they absolutely go like mental for you, and then you get so high with them, and then all of a sudden you get cut down by the bad guy again, and it keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, and when you do manage to get the win, sometimes in my case by the skin of my teeth. And when I do get the win, it makes me feel really like, oh my god, it's absolutely amazing. So like being the good guy for me is the best feeling, knowing that the crowd will get behind you as soon as you like start clapping or like banging your feet when you start to feel the adrenaline kicking in and they're getting up really high, and then you go for it. But I also like I said, I also like being the bad guy because you can annoy people. Like you can come out with your obnoxious music. Like I had a match with Skylar Jane at TNT Explosive. I literally walked out with my obnoxious music, and I was standing there. I was like, "What am I actually doing here for?" And you could tell me just taking those few seconds. I was like, yeah, they definitely don't like me. So I was walking around and they were proper giving me evils and like going obviously boo. And I was saying, well, you think you're short, you're fat, you're bald, and you can do like silly things like that, and it proper riles them up. So when I was beating on Skylar Jane, it was making everyone go, "Hey, stop cheating!" And I'm like, obviously, shut your mouth. You know what I mean? It's a different, obviously, a different side of me. But then when I'm getting my backside beat by Skylar, they're obviously behind her and like cheering her on, and it makes me like really annoyed. So it's a good teeter totter action in those types of matches. And I'd say that one with Skylar was the best for like crowd work on my behalf, because they were constantly shouting at me, telling me not to do this, not to do that. Tell the ref to like get between the two of yous, because I was choking her in the corner and stuff, and I was going for it, like, and they were getting so annoyed. It was brilliant, and I was just being me, like obviously the heel side of me, and it's just great when you can work the crowd both ways, because I've not been the good guy for TNT Explosive yet, and I don't think I'll be going good guy anytime soon.
Welcome, Lockdown. Lockdown is in the house, and he said summer is a mint match.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. Welcome, Skyrim. I don't know either. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I know what he means. I don't know what he means. No.
I'm just gonna go, yay, no worries, hi. I don't know.
Speaking of you being in the business now, it seems like you're one of those ladies over there in like the UK, Scotland area, that the Northeast area, I'll say, has been what we would call, in a sense, like a veteran. And it seems like you have some mentorees, like Sophia. Is there any more like Sophia that you have mentored?
I'd like to say that I do look out for Skylar Jane a bit. But obviously she's 17, so she can basically stay on her own 2 feet. But she does come to me occasionally on show days and be like, I'm not sure what to do like in my match. Like, can I do like maybe this move with this move, or does these groups of moves like fit together? And it was the same with Sophia, like when we were in obviously doing our matches and stuff, particularly with the tag matches with Anna and Bella. She was saying to me like, I'm not sure like whether we could do tag moves or anything like that. And I was like, well, we're not going to do tag moves for now, but like I'm pretty sure you could do this, this, and this. And you know, I'd say those two were predominantly my like like I was mentoring those two, but not as much with Skylar, because obviously she's a little bit older and she's got a bit of her own mind. But with Sophia, she was quite young when she started with us at Firestar, and now I'd like to say I'd mentor Lottie a little bit as well, because she's very green in the business and she's willing to listen to like, not criticism, but like if she wants to do something a little bit more advanced, I'll be like, well, you can do this way or this way. With our match at UWA, it was my debut match, and she was saying to me she can't wait to wrestle me, and I was like, well, I can't wait to wrestle you either, because I like looking after like newer female talent, because I know what it was like to be nervous and absolutely crapping myself going in any match. And me and Lottie smashed it. Like, we missed like one little thing in the match was just a miscommunication, but it's bound to happen with everyone. And it was just the fact that the pair of us at the end of the match, like when we went backstage, we were like, look, we obviously had a miscue. Let's just forget about it and just move on, and just, you know, things happen, you know what I mean? And I do like to look out for the slightly newer talent and the younger talent, because it's just because it's the mother in me, unfortunately. I like looking out for people.
That was an amazing match, says Lockdown, and he said July 26th, tease it, laughing my ass off.
Funny, hilarious.
Wait, is there like
No,
something
it's all right. No, it's all right. There's not going to be any beef. I guarantee you, it's not going to be no beef.
I must be missing out on something. I'm confused.
No. He likes to wind me up, but he's a good fella normally.
I don't doubt. Titch is a nice man. And welcome. My mom's here. Hi, Mom.
Oh, right.
Um, now when we go into it of performing, what's your favorite part about performing in front of a crowd in general?
It's just basically telling the story, really. Like, sometimes you can go in and it'll be like a slugfest where, like, it just literally moves after moves after moves after moves. And it can be a bit boring for like the crowd. Whereas like with me, I try and do my best to do like a good mixture of the two. Like if I'm a bad guy, I like to sometimes do like like corner shots and like wind the crowd up a little bit. Then I cool off a little bit, and then I go in again to try and like show that I'm not always the animal on someone. I actually do want to tell this story that, the good guy's coming up and coming to attack me, and it's a good, back and forth. And with me, then with me being the good guy, I like doing obviously slightly bigger, more, I don't know whether you call it fancier moves, but like I do like obviously me hurricane ranas and me head scissors and me top rope crossbodies and stuff. It's it's a bit more of a wow factor because they're a bit like sometimes I can feel it in the crowd, like if it feels like it's getting a little bit flat, or like they feel like they're losing a little bit of interest. I can say to my partner that I'm working with, maybe go for the head scissors, or go into the corner and I'll do a top rope crossbody just to keep like the atmosphere up. And because I don't usually plan as much in the ring, like obviously beforehand, sometimes I can actually call what I need to call in the ring to bring the crowd back up, if you get what I mean.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like if I feel like I'm getting too much beat down from like the bad guy, I can end up getting them in the corner, or they'll get me in the corner and be like, you fight up and do a big move. So then I'll think, well, all right, then I'll do me head scissors. So then I'll do the head scissors, go up and over, and then I'll get the crowd back up and cheer, come on guys, let me hear you. And then usually they all start clapping and they start going up, high energy again. So then that's when I start doing like my facey moves and being like in the spotlight with the shine and stuff. And yeah, it's like I said, it varies with different types of people, like how they wrestle. But I like doing like a mixture of obviously ground and pound and the more storytelling parts as well, if that makes sense.
Now, do you feel like you always are telling a story whenever you go out there? Or do sometimes you just do an exhibition match per se? Like, do you feel it's important to always tell a story? Or do you feel like there's sometimes where you don't need to always tell a story during a match?
Sometimes when I'm in like camp shows, um, as I as I'm pretty sure you're aware that I had a debut at Basics, which was basically outside in a in like it was like a caravan holiday park type style. With
Okay.
with them, they don't really like the massive storytelling. They more like they like more like moves and moves and moves, because they're just there for a bit of entertainment. So like if you're storytelling with them guys, they could get a little bit bored because sometimes they just want to sit there and enjoy something. Oh my god, they've just slammed each other. They've just done a massive power bomb. Whereas if you're doing storytelling with that type of crowd, sometimes they can cheer for you. They can cheer for you and love it, but then they go like really flat again. So then you've got to do another big move and be like, oh, the back up again. So I find that camp shows can be a little bit harder, like with storytelling. So it's more for me. It's more like spot fest with a bit of mouthing off to the crowd and stuff like that. So I don't usually story tell with like those types of shows. But if I'm actually doing like the TNT show, for instance, or a 5-star match, I can usually do the storytelling a lot more because they've actually like took time out of the day to actually come and sit with us. Whereas with camp shows, they're like, oh, let me see if they just come and have a bit of a watch, and then they sometimes disappear, or you know what I mean. So it's a little bit harder to do that type of style. But I do prefer to do storytelling as much as I can.
Respect, respect. And going back a little bit to about performing in front of a crowd, this may be a tough one, but what is your favorite crowd and venue to compete in front of?
Um, I think the Greetland Community Centre for Firestar, you get the better um atmosphere, like with the volume of like interaction with the crowd, because when you when you're a face and you're firing up and you're getting ready to do all your shining moves, and they get like behind you for your whole thing. And there's also our Lee Mount shows as well for Firestar. They're um they're very into it. They're very loud and they chant a lot. Like they they can be feral sometimes, because sometimes they can like, you know, flip you the bird when you're the bad guy. But you know, it's it's all round good environments. Um, and I could also say for Bolton as well. Um, I wrestled what's her name? Mel Price. That footage has not been put up just yet, but it was in Little Lever, and that crowd was insane. Like they were behind me a hell of a lot, and I could say that was one of my favourites as well. But the two Firestar venues we've got are definitely my favourite, because they always get behind the good guys and they absolutely hate the bad guys, and that's like the best feeling ever.
Most challenging part about being a wrestler?
It's more obviously traveling, the traveling aspect, and obviously the soreness after matches. Like regardless of how easy you take it in the ring, you're still gonna be your body's still gonna be tired. You're still gonna be running basically on fumes till you get home. Um, I'd just say it's more for me is my body, like after a match, regardless of how safe it's been or how easy it was to wrestle said person, my body still feels like a car accident afterwards, regardless of how many times I train, regardless of how many times I go to the gym, regardless of how many times I get a deep heat bath, my body still aches. And for me, it's like I've got a job well done, because if I don't ache, I've not done anything right, if that makes sense.
No, most definitely. Um, what's your favorite thing about being a wrestler?
Oh, wow. My favorite thing is basically going out there and just putting on the best performance I possibly can. And when I'm more of a good when I'm usually a good guy in most companies now. Um, it's basically just a feeling of like all the kids coming up to you, coming in, coming to the side of you and getting your hand slaps when you're going around the ring, and getting the photographs afterwards and saying, oh, I've got a handful of fans that I do see occasionally at TNT and at Bolton and at Firestar, that they're all like, oh, can we get a picture with you? Can you sign something for me? And I'm like, definitely 100%. And it's just the fact that we're making those kids' days a lot better just by, putting on that show and making them speak about it to like the kids in school or to their grandparents or whoever lives with them at home, saying like, oh, I've just watched Summer Rain kick the shit out of Scarlett or kick the shit out of someone else, you know what I mean? And then they're buzzing about it, and then that's just what makes me feel good to be a wrestler. It's like I said, it's tiring, but it's well worth it.
What's a big misconception people have about you?
That I'm a pushover, that you can boss me around, like, and people don't believe me when I've been in the wrestling business for 14 years. They're like, no, you couldn't have been in that long. I'm like, yeah, I am. I've been in the business 14 years, 15 years coming this September. And they're like, how come we've never seen you anywhere? I was like, well, because sometimes you don't get the footage to prove where you've been. So sometimes people are a little bit unsure about me being like, I wouldn't say like a veteran, so to speak, but like, yeah, in a way. But that's the only thing that it bugs me sometimes when people don't believe me when I've been like, in the business for 14 years. Um, and sometimes when I'm wrestling like slightly chunkier ladies, more curvy ladies, people are more like, well, why, how'd you do it? I'm like, same as everything else. You know, I'm a wrestler, and that's what I'm trained for. I train with men and women. I'm trained to take on any body shape. And because I'm little, people are like, nah, you're never gonna do that match. I'm like, just watch me. And that's basically what my motto is now. It's like, you don't believe me, just watch me. So yeah.
Well said, well said. Um, how has wrestling helped you grow as a wrestler?
It's opened my eyes a lot to how the world of wrestling works, um, and how hard it is for females to get like around in the business because sometimes like I don't know, it's a bit of a tough one. I'm not 100% sure really. It's just a little bit harder for us to be taken a bit seriously. Like if we want to go to like a big company, sometimes they're a bit put off and they're a bit like, I'm not sure. And I'm like, well, if you want to take a chance, take a chance. If not, then that's fine. And, you know, thankfully I've been given plenty of opportunities, obviously where I am now, because I used to live on the Wirral and I didn't get very many opportunities. So since I've moved to Halifax, I've managed to get a few more opportunities, and I'm just I'm just blessed that I'm getting the bookings, and obviously they keep like rebooking me because I've actually made it a good impact, and I am humbled by that.
Now, for somebody that's looking to start in the business, what advice would you give to them?
Wherever you are, try and find a reliable wrestling company to go and train in. Um, just keep working your ass off in training. Um, if you're doing something wrong and your trainer says that's wrong, take it on the chin and say, how do I fix it? Um, you're gonna get a lot of stick in training because everybody's got to learn somewhere. And if you're doing stuff wrong, then obviously your coach is going to be like, look, you have done that wrong. You can do it this way for beginners. Or if you're feeling a bit more advanced, you can do it this way. And you just basically take it on the chin. Because I did. I was basically told like multiple times when I was training, like, you're literally doing that wrong. You either do it this way or this way. If you can't do it one way, you've got to do it the other way. And I'm like, okay. And I'd sit down for a second and then I'd redo it. And I was like, well, oh yeah, that actually feels better. So if you get yourself to a decent training facility and just keep obviously turning up, and if you've got a gym membership, go to the gym, um, just look after yourself in general. And when your coach says, you know, you're ready for like a trainee match, like on a smaller show or something, then take it with both hands. Don't moan about anything. Just do it. And if you've done some things wrong, you learn from it. That's how I was taught. Like I was given trainee matches, and I was told sometimes when I come back, I'd be like, well, you took the wrist wrong. I'll be like, okay, how else can I do it? Or how have I done this? You know, get decent feedback. And sometimes your coaches can be like, look, you're getting there, you're getting really good now. Like we're gonna start putting you in a bit more shows. And then you obviously invest in your gear. No like Amazon bull crap. Like if you don't have the money to get your gear professionally made, at least do your research to try and find, like, I'm not saying knockoff versions of gear because that sounds disrespectful, but like if you find like a dance website for like dancing clothes for females anyway, like dancing leotards and stuff, they work just as good if you can't afford to get like proper wrestling gear made. But obviously it's a little bit easier for guys, but for women, you've got everything else to cover, you know what I mean? But just obviously invest in yourself, and if you can manage to get on shows, then take the bull by the horns and just absolutely run with it, because they've obviously got faith in you that you've trained hard enough for God knows how many years they think you need to train for. Just basically go for it.
Well said, well said. Welcome, Mateo, also known as Joker. I hope you are well, brother. Benny O'Brien, welcome. My mom just said, not all heroes wear capes.
Oh.
Welcome, Liz Hurd. Welcome back, Rob. Welcome, Vexy. Welcome, Ritik. And Ritik's giving you some love as well.
Way. I saw him at the last UWA show. He got chokeslammed. He literally went straight up and straight down.
Nothing's better than seeing a person that you know, hey, what's up, buddy? Oh, wait, you're going up in the sky. Bye-bye.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what he did. So obviously, I don't know if you've seen the footage, but it was absolutely hilarious. Like I watched it back, and I saw him fly, and I was like, oh god, he's gonna get flattened, and he literally went splat. But no, it is much respect for him though, because he is a young trainee, so much respect.
Indeed. And going into this, before we get to your matches, of course, I still got a few more questions and matches to go over.
Yeah.
You faced a lot of women. Are you any stranger to facing men at all?
I did at the start of my career with one of my ex-best friends. Me and him used to go training together when we were younger. He was the one that I started training with at All Star when I was 13. We managed to do a couple of intergender matches, but for me, I don't feel too great working with the males, as you know, it's a different weight class because I'm basically like a feather, and then obviously you've got a geezer who's obviously a lot heavier than a female. It's for me, it's not really believable. Like,
okay,
if like when my ex-best friend was like doing his moves, it'd be like, oh well, I'm gonna basically get pinned here. But because we had a small storyline going on, it was making me like obviously fight up and everything like that. Like, it was, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird question really, because obviously some females like working with the guys and like obviously jump at the chance at like obviously making the names for themselves working with other like established male wrestlers. But for me, I'd rather make my name like wrestling the females. Like if I was in a mixed tag match, that's a little bit different, because like sometimes the rules can be a little bit softer. Like sometimes the females can do a move on the males and then like go and run out, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But actually like a full on singles match, me versus another male, I wouldn't really like jump at the chance. But like, because people were making jokes saying, "Oh, me and Rob, me and my partner should do a match," and I was like, "No, I don't feel comfy, regardless if he's my fiance or not. I don't feel comfy. Like it's just me personally that obviously I'd rather wrestle like females, obviously as much as I could."
Well said. Well said. And going forward, how do you feel about the current state of pro wrestling? Where do you see it going?
Uh, Sometimes it can be good. Like it could be like going like up and up and up, but then it could get like it goes a bit stale, and then like you start seeing like the same people on the same shows. Like it's a little bit, a li- oh excuse me, a little bit boring to watch. Um, but sometimes you can actually see like a good variety of shows. Like, oh wow, that person's on that one, but then obviously she's on that one or he's on that one. Like it's it's getting a little bit better now that there's a few more opportunities for us, like for women. I'm not like being like, oh, women all this, women all that, but like it's nice to see that I'm seeing more female wrestlers like training and getting the names out there and being like, look, we're here to like put women's wrestling back on the map. You know what I mean? Like sometimes women's wrestling gets a little bit underappreciated. Is that the word? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it is the word. Yeah, it is the word. Um, and with us, with Firestar, we're doing an all women's show in August because we want to showcase like local local talent and basically show everyone that you know we are badasses just as much as the guys.
If
And
not better than the guys.
well, some guys, yeah. You never know. You never know. But
I
no,
mean, I've
like
seen women's matches that have absolutely destroyed the guys. So, I mean, I think you guys have definitely showcased what you guys can do. So, I mean, like, that's how I see it. Like, doesn't matter what gender you are. But at the same day, I've seen women's defeat the men on plenty of occasion when it comes to matches. I'm just calling
yeah,
it as it is.
yeah, yeah. No, it is. It is really nice to see that we're we're getting taken a bit more seriously now because obviously the WWF back like way back when I was like probably not even alive. They were all like little dolly birds in mini skirts and stuff, and
Hmm.
obviously not wrestling and just coming out like little tarts. But now we're actually like coming out and we're actually kicking 10 cans of bells out of each other, whether it's a female against a guy or two girls, a female tag team match, and we're actually kicking ass. And I actually like seeing that we're getting the opportunities to perform, obviously just as obviously on if not the same caliber, the same level as the guys. It's a lot easier to be like, I can actually take myself a lot more seriously now as a female wrestler. That like, Rio, like she's just not like she's on top of her game now. Like she was, knocking 10 cans of bells out of someone the other week on Progress, and I was flabbergasted because I was like, I knew you from when you were just starting out with Marty Jones and stuff, and now look where you are. You know what I mean? And it's really good to see that, a couple of my like close friends, Tony Storm, Timeless Tony Storm in AEW.
Awesome.
She was a close friend of mine, and Kaylee Ray, who was Alba Fire in WWE. Um, and I was quite proud of them when they got to where they got. And it's like, if they can, then I can be as big or, as big as I can be on the independent scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've already explained this quite a bit to people that have come on the pod. I would love to see you guys go to big companies like, for example, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA. I'm just afraid if you guys go to WWE or AEW, you won't be utilized because one, AEW is ran by a crack addict. Two, WWE just releases people even after like
Yeah.
pushing them so much, and I'm afraid of that happening to y'all. I'd rather you guys just go to independents than the other places, but it's
Yeah.
your choice at the end of the day, but I don't want to see you guys be underutilized because when you guys got so much skill to show.
No, 100%, 100%. Like I've always like wants to stay on the independent scene. Like WWE and AEW and all that were never in my like dream board or anything. It was more like just get your face out there where you can, and if you can go like abroad, you can. But at the minute, I've not been abroad wrestling yet, but I am hoping like sometime next year, you know, my opportunities will start coming about. But because obviously I've got a child and it's a little bit harder to obviously find childcare and stuff. Um, but if I could go abroad for a little bit, then I would. But it would just mean that I'd miss everyone, and it'd be a lot harder.
I have no doubt. Always got to take care of personal life. Always, that's what matters first.
Yeah, 100%.
How important is fan engagement? How do you connect with your fans?
Well, obviously it's more for me. It's on show days. Um, when I'm being the good guy, Summer Rain, obviously there when I'm setting up and when the fans come in and I've not gone backstage yet, sometimes they can be like, "Oh my God, hi," and I'll be like, "Hi, I'll see you soon," and they'll be like, "Oh, you wrestling today?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, definitely," and they'll be like, "Oh, I'll be cheering for you," and that's what I love. And also, like, it's the same if I'm being a bad guy. Sometimes they'll look at me funny, and I'll give them a funny look, and they'll be like, a tiny bit intimidated, but I'll be standing there, and then I'll walk back, and then they'll be going like, no, 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 behind me, and I'll be like, well, you stink. You know what I mean? It's silly things like that. You can, make a good impression to kids, especially like if you're being, like I said, if you're being the good guy, you're like, I'm not saying lovey dovey, but you're like, oh my God, it's nice to see you and stuff like that. But whereas if you're a bad guy, you're a bit like, no, go away, leave me alone. It's it's the good interactions you can get because if you're being a bad guy, sometimes the kids can remember you, and then when they see you at another show, they'll be like, "I didn't like you. You told me I smell," and I'll be like, "Yeah." And whereas if I'm playing good guy, they'll be like, "Oh, I got a picture with you the other week. Can I have another one? Because you got a different top on this time." You know what I mean? And it's a lovely mixture, really. But I always like seeing them in person because online, I don't have TikTok or anything like that. I've only got Instagram and YouTube and obviously my Facebook. But obviously, not many young kids have it. So when I see them on show days, it's more interaction, which is a lot easier for me because I like seeing their faces. If I'm a good guy, I like seeing their faces when they see me come out, and I'm like, hi, you know what I mean? It is really nice.
Awesome. That's awesome. How do you stay motivated?
Uh, motivation, hey. I think that's just running on fumes at the minute for me. I'm
Okay.
I run on quite a few hours sleep, but sometimes it's not very good on sleep. But if I have a good meal and a good energy drink, i.e. like Lucozade or something, I can usually keep it going on show days. Um, it's just more obviously the comeback of coming home and like crashing with a cup of tea for me.
Awesome. Um, my next one is we're going to go over some shows that you have been a part of and upcoming projects. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to go down the list here and then we'll get into what's going to be happening. You want to tell us about your experience at Championship Wrestling Entertainment, CWE?
CWE was an experience and a half, as I wrestled their women's champion Hayden Morgan. Um, that was a quite a hard match because she's an Irish lass kicker basically. she uh, she uh, she beat me pretty bad, but I managed to keep going until I unfortunately tapped out to her submission, and I missed out on the championship with that one.
You've told us a bit about your time in TNT Explosive Wrestling. You want to tell us anything more about that?
All I want to say is that like I loved working. I love working for them, and obviously their crowds are like absolutely mental because I'm I'm playing the bad guy for TNT Explosive, and when they don't like you, they tell you they don't like you, and it's a good experience being there.
Bolton Town Wrestling.
Again, the atmosphere, like in the locker room, like I saw a couple of the guys that I've not seen in a while, and I had a chat with obviously with my colleagues, and it was lovely to catch up with them, and obviously the crowds were amazing. The two places I worked at, because I worked, the one was Scarlet, which is on my YouTube, and the Little Lever one I worked with Mel Price. Both venues were really good, like crowd work and everything like that. I definitely want to go back there eventually.
Sovereign Nation Wrestling.
That was a quite a difficult few matches I had there, because I was the good guy, and it was the crowd. Obviously, the crowds were good. It's just some of the ladies I was working with. Obviously, like the format of the match was a bit different because it was a 6-woman elimination style match for the women's championship. It was a bit of a weird like setup. But the crowds were amazing there, as and when I was.
You're talking about the Iron Survival match that you were in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it was a hard match, that, because we were all new to that style, and unfortunately I missed out on the women's championship there.
Welcome, Prince Dagon. Welcome, Raquel Benson. And speaking of Dagon, you want to tell us about the IWF Imperial Wrestling Federation?
Yes, I was working bad guy there, against Selfrina, a good couple of times. The hardest match I had with her was the 2 out of 3 falls match, as I've never done that type of stipulation before. But yeah, that was good because, like I said, I'm open to new stipulation matches. And Selfrina was she brought it. She brought the blue fire, so to speak. But no, that it was a really good experience, and obviously, as and when I come back, I'll let you know.
She's another one that I've noticed that you've interacted in with a few places.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What about Kingdom Wrestling?
Kingdom, I only made one appearance there. It was against Blue She, who I crossed paths with in my EPW days. But she was a different character than she was the Voodoo Queen back when I was just starting out. But now she's in a different style character. And that match was very, 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 very hard. The crowd was amazing. Unfortunately, I got flattened, but it was still a very, very good match. And as and when I go back, yeah, I'm not 100% sure yet, but when I get the call, I'll let you know.
What about the British Wrestling Federation?
I made my debut there against Scarlett, and that match was obviously very tasking, as Scarlett's a very powerful woman. The crowd was behind me as much as they could, but unfortunately, the Barbie powerbomb made me lose. But it was a really good match. But that powerbomb, don't want to get on the receiving end of that again.
Welcome, Raquel Benson, and welcome, Bolton Town Wrestling is watching.
Might have known.
Now you want to tell us about UWA Ultimate Wrestling Alliance, where you had your match against Lottie.
Yeah, obviously I made my debut there, and when I did my promo, I wasn't best pleased that I was going up against this new up and comer, but the actual match itself was brilliant. Like I said before, we had a tiny miscommunication with one of the moves, but again, we live and learn, and you'll be seeing me there a couple more times. I can't remember the dates exactly, but there is supposedly a championship match in the future in UWA. So you never know, you might see me with the women's championship.
You well could be. And I would our last one that we're going to talk about before we get to some matches is Firestar Championship Wrestling, which I think you consider your home company, yes?
Yes, it is my home company. It's mine and my partner's. It basically is my home. It's the best thing that's ever happened. Obviously, other than meeting my partner, having my son, that's probably the next best thing that's ever happened to us, to actually have this company and have the crowds we get, because the crowds get behind you, especially if you're the good guy like myself for Firestar. It's definitely a crowds you want to keep behind you, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I'll be at Firestar till I'm an old lady.
And speaking of where you and Rob are partners, do you guys co-own the thing, or is it just Rob?
Yeah, we do co-own. I'm more of the silent type promoter, but I do look after the women's division. I do help on show days. If I'm not wrestling and the other two ladies or whoever else is wrestling and I'm not wrestling, I'll be backstage with them and be like, look, we can maybe do this in your match. We can maybe do this and this. So I'm not really out there going out and going on socials and saying, right, you're booked, you're booked, you're booked, because Rob's more into doing that than me. Because he used to do it beforehand with his previous wrestling company he was at in Malta. But yeah, I'd like to think I'm not saying the guardian of the women's division, because that sounds weird, but when the women do come to the show, they usually come to me and be like, obviously, what he's after in the match. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I mean, you say that sounds weird, but it almost sounds kind of cool. It's kind of like a nickname. I'm the guardian of the women's division.
Yeah, it literally just came into my head because I was thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're the guardian. You're the mentor. You're the El Jefe.
Pretty much.
Now, did you and Rob find it together, or did Rob make FCW before you guys met, or how did that process go? Did you guys find it together?
Yeah, it was when we started dating, and when he was, because he actually lived in Malta for 17 years. Me and him met online, funnily enough, and literally we were speaking for a good few months. He literally packed his stuff from Malta, moved here, obviously on the prowess that obviously meeting me in person is going to be like amazing. And funnily enough, it was. And literally, like, I think it was like a year or so later, we produced Firestar.
Understood. And do you guys co-book, or is one of you the booker and one of you handle other stuff?
Rob usually is the booker. I'm usually helping with like making sure the wages are there at the end of the night, and making sure there's like enough waters backstage, and where people know if there's any first aid kits just in case like somebody like busts their elbow or needs like headache tablets or anything like that. They're in the in the medicine bag. But yeah, Rob's the predominant booker. I'm more like the run arounder, so to speak. Making sure everybody's got their wages, making sure everybody's got everything they need. Um, yeah, pretty much.
Making sure everything's in order. You're the person that kind of
Yeah,
keeps the company together.
I could say that, like making sure like the ring skates are on properly, and like the guys know like who are building the ring to make sure that it is so and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm kind of like the pardon.
No, sorry, so sorry.
No, I'm kind of like the undercover boss, so to speak, because not many people think, obviously, that I'm like the co-promoter. They obviously know I'm the co-promoter, but like they don't really fully know that like I'm listening to everyone's conversation, and like if I'm not like eavesdropping or anything like that. It's just like if something comes up in a conversation, I could be like, well, if you're not sure with how that goes, go and ask Rob, because I'm not sure about your match. So go and ask Rob about your match, because sometimes like the main events might want to be a little bit different to everyone else, which I don't really know how we want the main event to go. So I'd say, well, if you don't know about your match, either obviously go and speak to Rob about it. So that's kind of how that goes as well.
Understood. And you were telling me when we were talking that you were working on posters for your upcoming shows. Do you mainly do the posters, or is this kind of like a group effort?
It's more Rob, but when we actually have them printed out and actually like when we actually go and do the posters, it's the pair of us, and sometimes me stepson if he's not in college. We usually go out and poster, and when we do our flyers, it's usually obviously me and my partner that do them, um, just to get that little bit extra coverage. Um, but Rob's the one that creates them. I just help distribute them.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not very good at graphics.
welcome, Alexander the Judge. Well, everybody gets better at something, and like freaking, you at least give your input on the designs, though, right?
Yeah, I do. I sometimes say to like rearrange people, because sometimes if you put like a certain amount of people on the poster, like sometimes somebody's picture looks a little bit either smaller or bigger, and I just say just rearrange them a little bit, and obviously rearranges it, and then it looks a lot better. But I don't really do too much about it, but I do say like maybe alter the color a little bit of this writing, or maybe move that person there a little bit. So I do I do help alter them. I just don't actually physically make them.
Okay. It's understandable. We have a great team who are responsible for designing and making the posters. I do a few of them. Matthew Bell Simpson does some, and Terry Overton does the majority of them, says Rob.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's just when those guys are busy, it's usually Rob.
Okay. Who usually does your guys' belt designs?
Um, there's a guy in Pakistan by he goes by the name Muhammad Ali. Um, I'm not sure about his Facebook name for his Facebook It's business Facebook. There we go. But he's created all of our belts so far. And we give him a bit of an idea from like a picture from like our our Euro heavyweight has got the earth inside it, and that was from one of the old WWF championship belts. So
Okay.
Rob basically sent it to him and said, "Look, we'd like this element, but with this style." And obviously, the gentleman and all his wisdom like makes it all out on his computer, and then we can either say, "Yes, we like that design," or "Can you alter it?" And he alters them for us, and then when we actually say, "Yeah, let's get this made," we can get it made within a couple of months, and it's sent to us.
Do you mind if we go down each belt that you guys have? You want to tell us the significance of each one?
I don't really. All I can tell you is that we've got the Euro heavyweight, we've got the open weight, we've got the British the British Championship, lightweight championship, I think. We've got the Calder Valley men's, we've got the Calder Valley women's, and we've got the normal women's. So yeah, I can't really do the significance.
Okay.
Oh, and we've got the tag team and the tag belts as well. We've got the two male tag belts as well. Um, but the Euro heavyweight is obviously our like main title, like
Okay.
that's been with us from the start. And the open weight's been with us from the start. Um, the tag belts were the first to be made like properly. And then yeah, all the others just kind of snowballed.
Understood. Now, what do you think? Since I had no idea you were the co-owner of FCW until now, so that's why I'm kind of like talking about it more. But I do have a question regarding that. What do you think was the goal for making FCW, and what do you think its legacy will be?
Well, I hope we do have a decent legacy, regardless of who's running it, because obviously me and Rob are not going to stop anytime soon. Um, we're just hoping that with the amount of stuff we've done so far and the charity shows we've done, we did a charity show not long ago for Riley, who has a skin disorder, and we raised um quite a bit of money for him, and now we're doing another one, but it's been like arranged by Riley's fundraising page for giving back to like Forget Me Not Children's Hospice. Um, that's on the 1st of August, so that's another charity event. But that's not for Riley, that's for the Forget Me Not Children's Hospice. And we're obviously having our wrestlers there to do two little shows on the daytime, because they've got a little daytime show, and then we've got the um slightly bigger wrestling show at the end of the evening. And we're hoping like if we keep doing a few things like that for the community, obviously our legacy is going to be cemented, because we're not just in it for the glory or like getting our faces out like in the newspaper or slapped all over YouTube, or like we're not we're not saying, oh, look what we're doing. Like we're not being like stuck up our own bums or anything. We're basically just saying, look, we're helping everyone out. We're just having a nice time. And if you wanna if you wanna obviously support us, then feel free. And it's yeah, I do hope we do stick around and have a decent legacy as and when me and Rob don't promote anymore, and it might go to Rob's son.
Okay. Hiya Marty Jones says Rob, and he said the European and heavyweight titles were separate titles, and we unified them when Martin Kirby won them both on December 7th, 2024.
Well, there you go. That's why I don't know the logistics of the of how the belts were made, like, you know. But yeah, no, I just want to say hi to Marty, because I think he's watching as well. Uh, yeah,
Well said.
he's another guy that I can happily say is is a decent fella. He gave me the opportunities to ref on one of his shows. So I'm not sure where about it was. Can't remember. It was for the the main Marty Jones title belt. With Tucker and Wesley and Serico. And let's just say I had a laugh being their ref, because it was a really fun match to actually be like in the ring with those two guys, like working their asses off. And the fact that I got to be the official for that match was good. And yeah, I'd love to wrestle for Marty more. And yeah, we'll just see that. We'll just see down the line.
Well said. Well said. And yes, Lottie says hiya.
Hi, you lot.
So some shows that you have coming up that I think you are a part of, or if not just helping being a part of, you got the FCW live show, which is May 30th.
Yes, we do. Yeah, that's our Lee Mount show. Um, I will be doing the recordings for that show, as we've got two really good females for that show. We've got the Calder Valley Women's Championship on the line. Skylar Jane versus the debuting Madam Director.
Okay. And also, you got a few things happening on June 27th. Like you have two superstars coming in. One is from WB NXT, Tom LaRufa.
Yes, we do. Yes, yes. It's a long standing friend of my partner. He actually was at our first ever Firestar show 3 years ago, and now 3 years later, he actually gets to grace us with his presence again. So it's really nice to have him back.
And also, because this show is called Inferno Rising, you also have another person appearing on that day, which is June 27th, Red Scorpion.
Yeah, yeah. Funnily enough, he's another friend of my partner's. Yeah, he happens to be in England at that time, and he basically just said, "I'm free," and unfortunately, our Euro heavyweight champion, Ashley Dunn, had to have surgery early this morning. So thankfully, Red Scorpion was there to like not fill the space, because no one can fill an Ashley Dunn space, but he was there to, take the place of him as and when he feels obviously healed and back with us. But yeah, no, Red's a good friend of my partner's as well.
FCW will also present, as we talked about a little bit, Saturday, August 1st, Wrestling for Riley 2.
Yeah, that's that was for the Forget Me Not Children's Hospice. And that was like I said, that's organised by Riley and his family. We're just a part of it because Riley loves us as a wrestling company. And obviously we want to put on a show for whoever wants to come. And yeah.
Doesn't that make you feel good knowing that you're impacting a boys like that life and like where it's going? Like that's just incredible.
Yeah, it does. It does humble me a lot. Like I can't stop smiling. Yeah, because that's all we want is to basically say to everyone, our environment is, our environment's safe, comfy, and it's family friendly, and we support anyone going through anything to just come and have a relax and have a laugh or get angry at a bad guy, and you know that's what we're trying to do, is just trying to make, like, if a poorly child's struggling a little bit, then come to our show and they forget about themselves a little bit, and it's it's a good thing that they get to forget about themselves just for a little bit to have the memories there. And yeah, I don't want to go all cheesy, but yeah.
And the last show I have listed coming up for FCW will be on August 29th, the all women's show.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Um, we've got a lot of crazy talent on that card. And funnily enough, I'll be having my rematch with Blue She, hopefully, if we don't end up changing the card around again. But it's gonna be a good one, that, because the women's championship and the Calder Valley Women's Championship is gonna be on the line, so we might end up seeing new champions crowned at that show. Just don't know who yet.
Since those are all the FCW stuff coming up, do you want to tell us about any other projects you're going to be a part of? You talked a little bit about how you're going to be about something in future for UWA when you return there. Anything else that we should be incited for?
Um, it's more UWA and FCW we've got to watch out for. As obviously UWA has got a few more shows coming up. I do apologise that I don't remember the dates. Um, yeah, there's a few decent matches coming up. With obviously with myself and with the other females. And with FCW, obviously we've got the all women's show coming, and a lot can happen on one show, and you never know, we can have like a few different women's championships change hands, and yeah, they're the main ones that you've got to watch out for now.
Rob actually just stated we also have a collaboration show that will be announced soon with the UWA on July 26th.
Yeah, that's not actually been like fully advertised yet, as we're yet to have a poster created properly, and um yeah, there's going to be a lot happening on that show as well, because it's going to be basically Firestar and UWA all mushed in one, and we don't know whether Firestar is going to come out with the most wins or whether UWA are going to come out with the most wins, because we'll just have to wait and see.
Most indeed. And speaking of UWA, they have a show called Path of the Righteous Man, which is May 30th, by the way.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, and I have noticed Miss Lottie is going up against Jess E. Quinn, and I just want to say Jessie is a very good wrestler. Um, I went up against her in a tag team match, and don't worry, Lottie, she is very safe, very fun, and you'll get a really good match out of her.
And it's also recently announced it's going to be Nate Sawyer versus R Kid.
I don't know much about our kid, but Nate Sawyer, he's a very grim human. His face mask, just, it looks like skin, and
Mm-hmm.
I avoid him on show days sometimes because it just doesn't look right. No, because it's a face on a face. It looks strange. But
Oh,
no, I
come
think
on.
that would be a
You
good
don't want
match
to
to
go say hi to him? You don't want to go hang out with Nate? Come on now.
No, I can say hi to him when he's not in Nate Sawyer mode. When he's not in his character, I can speak to him fine. But when he's in his character with the skin face on, I sometimes say hi, but then I walk the other way because it's a bit grim. It's very cleverly made, but it's not my cup of tea.
Well said, well said. Well, good luck to the UWE on there, and maybe they're still announcing matches, so I mean, there could be a possibility. Well, they're happening the same day that your show is happening, so you guys will be having
Yeah,
two shows
yeah,
happening with each other, back to back.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now,
It is crazy.
and you guys worked that out together that you guys would be doing it on that same day, or was that just odds?
It was just sheer coincidence because we at Firestar had our show like mostly made up by then, and then the UWA guy, Titch, was basically like they could only get the hall on that day or whatever. I didn't know, but it was just a sheer coincidence because he rang Rob and he was like, "My show's on the same day as yours." I was like, "Well, good job you didn't need any of us from Firestar then."
Well said, well said. And Ed Hunter just stated he changed his mask recently, not working out though. He's on a losing run with it. Mm.
Oh, never. You might have to
Um,
change it back.
might change what?
He might have to change his mask back.
Mm. Quite well could. You think it happened? The future is bright, and we've talked about your time in Bolton Town Wrestling. Do you think we'll see you at their WrestleMania event? I forgot to put the date that it happens.
I'm not booked on that one.
Okay,
But you will be seeing me on Bolton at some point. It's just scheduling conflicts with my other bookings. That's why I'm not booked with Bolton just yet. Again.
understood. And Kingdom Wrestling has some dates coming up. Do you think that we'll be seeing you maybe on May 29th before UFCW show, maybe June 26th, July 24th, August 29th, September 25th, October 30th, or November 27th?
To be honest, oh excuse me, I'm not 100% sure. I would like to think so, but I'm yet to be contacted. But if not, obviously it's okay. Obviously, people get booked everywhere else. But like I said, if I am, then you'll see me there. If not, it's okay. There's always the next show.
Most indeed. And IWF has their show coming up, Our Legacy, May 16th, which is in 3 days. Maybe there's a possibility we might see you there.
Well, I was hoping I was gonna grace IWF there, but somebody else answered Kirsty Love's open challenge, so yeah, I'm not gonna be there just yet. But if Kirsty puts out another open challenge, then you might see me there.
To be clear, when it comes to open challenges, as far as I'm concerned, open challenge is usually open to anybody. As yes, I understand Peyton accepted it, but did Kirsty ever specify how much people she wanted to face?
In the open challenge, she didn't really specify, but I don't really want to get on the wrong side of Kirsty because
Okay.
she's a very strong woman.
There's no doubt there. Hey, all I'm saying is when it comes to an open challenge, unless they declare how much people they want in the match, I feel like it's still free game. That's the biggest thing right there. So, I mean, hey, who knows?
Well, no, you never know. You never know.
Indeed. Yeah, they got a pretty nice card here. They got R Kid versus Solaris Hex, Johnny Flashback versus your favorite, Nate Sawyer, the Detriment hybrid of Alfie versus the Legion Spawn Persona, and they had the Regal Duos Championship, Blaze of Glory versus Danny Kaye and E1G Mackey, the IWF Sovereign Shield Championship, Yaka versus Alan Shaw, and the IWF Championship, Walker Wall Street versus Dagon.
I know that is one stacked card, and obviously I wish them all the best. Obviously, stay safe, have fun, and if belts change hands, then hats off to you.
Well said, well said. And now we're going to get into your matches now for the companies that you have been a part of. We've talked about some of them already, but we're going to go down the list here that I have.
Oh goodness me.
The first one we're going to start with is the one that you talked about briefly was Summer Rain, you, versus Blue She at Kingdom Wrestling. Want to tell us anything about that match and how you guys planned it out?
All I can say is that it was easy enough to plan as Blue she's knew me from like my I was gonna say junior days, but like when I was younger, she was like the first woman to have a match with me. So she kind of had like a rough idea of what I used to do. So when we were basically running through it, um, it was easy enough to plan because it was all old friends, so it was easy enough to plan. Um, and like I said, the match went really well. Obviously, I got flattened quite a few times, but I was cheated out of that though. I was cheated out of that. If you watch the footage back, she rakes my eyes and then she does her
Mm-hmm.
finishing maneuver. So you never know. I might end up taking that up with her on the Firestar All Women's show. You never know.
Yeah, you did indicate that, so it makes me wonder if she's actually going to be there or what will happen. Hmm?
Mm.
Now, CWE Championship Wrestling Entertainment, you were at CWE Road to Redemption for the Women's Championship, as it was you taking on the champion Hayden Morgan, who you also have interacted in quite a few ways, whether it be tag or singles.
Yeah, I first crossed paths with her at CWE for the Women's Championship. Got my backside handed to me. Obviously with her submission maneuver, there was literally no way I could get out, so I had no choice but to tap. And then she crossed paths with us at FCW, and took on they were the first ever FCW women's tag team title holders, and for like conflict of bookings and things, we scrapped the women's tag titles. She came back. I think she came back once or twice after that as a singles competitor. Um, Thankfully, I've not crossed paths with her since the tag match, but there is speaks of possibly going to her company in Ireland sometime next year to maybe take her on.
That'd be very awesome. Well, I think everybody would love to see that. And Hayden did retain in that match, but it was still a good match nonetheless.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
For
she's still there though.
Bolton Town Wrestling. Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, it hurt. It hurt after that match because I had to tap, didn't I? So I was sore after that.
Some of them submissions, man, they can be deadly.
Yeah, they can be.
Now we have you for Bolton Town Wrestling, where you took on Scarlett, where you walked out victorious.
Yes, I did. Yes, it was. I don't know. It was a very, very hard match. Like it was easy. It was easy enough to plan, but Scarlett's not a woman you want to mess with. Like I managed to get the upper hand a good few times, but I got my backside handed to me a couple of times, even more. And it ended up me doing my tornado DDT from the corner to finally get the win. And I don't think she was best pleased, but that's what you do, innit?
And you interacted with her again in the British Wrestling Federation, where you took her on, where she walked out victorious this time. But this was not the last time that you guys saw each other, because you guys have had many interactions in other places, and we shall get to those other matches when it does happen.
Yes,
But this was
yes.
on the British Wrestling Federation right here.
Yeah, that one was that like I said, that one was a heavy match as well. Um I did my damnedest to get the win, but that Barbie bomb, that Barbie power bomb that she does is absolutely lethal. Regardless of how tall she is, it wasn't it wasn't pretty. And yeah, that was heavy. It hurt. And if you obviously, I'm pretty sure you've seen it. When I was getting up, like sitting up, she ended up kicking me in the head as well. And
Hmm.
she walked off then thinking she was Miss Prim and Proper, which wasn't very fair, but what can you say?
Yeah, I know. If I recall, you were like holding your head quite a bit, like for that, and freaking you. Either
Yeah.
you were selling really good, or it really fucking hurt.
No, I was. It hurt. The fact that the fact that she booted me hurt me as a person. But I was selling as well as being a bit hurt. But it's what you do, isn't it? I managed to bounce back soon enough. It was fine.
Well said, well said. And we talked a little bit about this one was the UWA Underground show where you took on Lottie, where Lottie won, but you said there was a little bit of a miscommunication during the match. But other than that, it was a great match all around, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was. It was. And I wouldn't fault Lottie at all. She just needs to work on her confidence, and that's all she needs to do is just stop coming out of her shell a little bit more and not be so worried about things. She should go out there, have fun, obviously stay safe, and not worry about what people think because everybody's learning. Everybody's got to be in the deep end at some point. But no, I did really enjoy that match.
Lockdown said, "You still flapping, laughing my ass off."
Just no comment. Just face plant on my face. Just
Freaking lockdown, bro. Going on
honest
to
to God.
team, huh?
Honest to gosh.
Now, for TNT Explosive Wrestling, I have you listed in 3 matches. 2 of them were on your YouTube channel. I did not find the third one, but I found out about the third one through talking to Sophia. You took on Sophia Sword for the Women's Championship at a time?
I did. It was for the vacant TNT Explosive Women's Championship. I had to think then. But yeah, the footage I misplaced as I did have it on my phone, but I've misplaced it, so I didn't get a chance to put it up. But that was to crown the first women's champion, like for the year, so to speak. Um, that was it was a really good match. I got attacked by loads of kids with those do you know the inflatable bats that Sophia was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up rolling outside to have like 2 minutes because she was literally kicking my arse. So I rolled out for a second and I sat down on one of the front row chairs because it was empty. So I thought I'm just gonna sit there. And then literally like I don't even know how many kids just started hitting me with these inflatable bats. And I was like, I'm gonna end up like dying by inflatable bat syndrome or something. And I literally had to push past them, get back in the ring, and one of them tried to put the bat through the rope and hit me as well. I was like, can you not? Well, that's the best thing. Like that. No, but that's the best thing. If you're being a bad guy and you get the kids to be like that, that they really do hate you to the point where they have to hit you. I don't agree with it, but like I know it was the heat of the moment and stuff, but it was the fact that Sophia was literally kicking my ass to the point where I had to go out. So the kids basically helped Sophia, but it wasn't enough because obviously I won and I'm the TNT Explosive Women's Champion at the minute.
That also shows that you're good at getting heat right there. Like I feel like that just shows like how much of a talent you are right there.
Thank you. I do my best, and I do think if you can get a rise out the kids, then you're doing your job right. That's all I can say, really.
And for your second match on TNT Explosive Championship Wrestling that I have, you had 2 matches against the same lady. It was Folk for the Women's Championship where it was against Skylar Jane where you retained. And then the second time you faced off with her there, you retained again.
I did. The second match I had with Sophia was Sophia's rematch, as sometimes you can get given a rematch if you feel like it was unjust. So she was granted a rematch, and it went, like I said, it went really well. Um, She came up short again, but never say never, really. And yeah, the vibes from the crowd were good as well. It was the same vibes. Like, I was hated, she was loved. We told the story of what we could, and we stayed safe, had fun, and yeah, it was a good match. Yeah.
And is there anything else you'd like to say about the Skylar Jane?
With Skylar, she brought the fire that I didn't think she'd have. Um, and she got the crowd behind her a lot. Um, and it was quite a tough match, as she she's quite powerful considering she's quite slender and tall, but she can pack a punch. And it was a really good match in my opinion, and I'd definitely wrestle her again. Um, but not for my TNT belt. My TNT belt's staying with me.
Welcome, Lou Newton, also known as Big Lou Nixon. And also, Ed Hunter said, she makes an awesome stink face. Stink eye, he said. Stink eye.
Yes, she does. She does.
Welcome, the
Wait,
Imperial
wait,
referee,
wait, wait.
Brian Chaplow.
Pardon?
Oh, I was welcoming Brian Chaplow, but you want to say what you said? My bad.
Oh no, it's okay. Carry on.
Oh, yeah, I was just introducing Brian Chaplow, who I think you might know, the Imperial referee.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Now, Sovereign Nation Wrestling, you had two matches for Sovereign Nation that I have listed. You were talking about that Iron Survival a little bit for the SSW Women's Championship, where it was you, uh, Anna, or double A-N-A? Did I
Anna,
say that
yeah.
wrong?
It's just Anna.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Nisa,
just spelled.
Harley,
Yeah,
and
Nissa. Yeah. Pardon?
Okay. Nisa, Harley, and Pandora were also in there.
Yes. Yes. That was
Do you want to talk
that was
about that one?
yeah. It was a very different match, as like the stipulation was a bit different to what all of us were used to, as like whoever made a pinfall, the the lady who got pinned would go out of the ring into
Okay.
like a penalty box for like 30 seconds, and then everyone else would carry on wrestling, and then they'd come back in after 30 seconds and vice versa. And it was who could get the most pins in the allotted time. And I think if we knew a little bit more about the stipulation, it would have ran a bit better. But I think because we were all a bit unsure on how the stipulation worked, we didn't do our best. It was still a good match, but I think because of the stipulation of how it was like explained to us, we couldn't like fully figure out how to make it work properly, if that makes sense. um, but no, if I could do something along them lines again, it'd be a little bit easier because I've done something similar, but I'd rather not.
Ed Hunter said when he was talking about she makes an awesome stink eye, he was talking about you, he said.
Me, cheeky, cheeky, cheeky.
Cheeky? What is that, like an expression that I don't know about cheeky?
Cheeky, yeah, that it's a term I use quite a bit because you know you can smile at someone and you could be like, yeah, you're being a bit cheeky, you, because you've done something funny. You get what I mean?
Mm,
It's
yeah.
a bit of an odd one, but yeah, Ed better watch himself there.
Before we go into the second match we have for Sovereign Nation Wrestling, I want to go down this list of women that you were with in the match. You want to tell us about your thoughts on Anna?
Anna, she was like the like a Viking shield maiden style, take no shit, take names, so to speak. She was a very powerful woman. As far as I'm aware, she stepped away for a while. for personal reasons, but she is hoping to come back. Nissa, I've not crossed paths with her yet, again, as she works for another company that I don't work for yet, but I might be working with them soon, if that makes sense.
Ooh.
Pandora she's gone to university, so her wrestling career is on hold for the time being. Holly Harris, I've wrestled a couple of times, like, I think I've wrestled her once on my YouTube for Firestar, and I've not crossed paths with her yet, but I think I'll be seeing her on the all women's show at Firestar in August.
Well said, well said. Welcome, Lisa Rigg.
That's my mum.
Hi, Mom. Now, this next match, you took on Silfrina, and we'll talk about more matches with you guys as we do have that coming up next, but you took on Silfrina in this match, and you defeated Silfrina.
Yes, the first match at IWF, I had my debut. Came out nicey because I didn't know what we had planned. And to be honest, I turned bad guy at the start of the match. I gave her a handshake and I gave her a good swift forearm to the face, and the crowd didn't like that at IWF, and I just revelled in it, to be fair, because it was up to us, as in me and Selfrina, because whether I should turn bad guy at the start of the match or at the end of the match. And I said it will make a little bit more sense if I come out like a good guy and then I turn bad guy in the ring, and it worked out for the best, and it was a good match in my opinion.
And now going on to the IWF, Imperial Wrestling Federation, you had a series of matches with Silfrina, but then there was one that was a tag match. We'll start with the first one, Silfrina versus Summer Rain, which won this encounter.
Yes, I did. It was another hard-hitting match. She gave it her all, but again, my hand was raised, and I was reveling in it because the IWF crowd didn't like their hometown queen getting squished. But I definitely wrestle Safrina again as and when she wants to come back, as she's took a small break as well.
Indeed, that's what I was told the other day, and she's a very talented lady, and I would love to see you guys face off again.
Yeah, I would as well. As soon as everything in her life straightened out a bit, then I'll be more than happy to get back in the ring with her.
And you guys had a tag match at the Halloween show where it was Silfrina teaming up with a mystery opponent because her original partner got replaced, and it turned out to be Jakob, and you teamed up with Danny Kaye, where Silfrina and Jakob walked out victorious.
Yeah, I wasn't best pleased with that, but a little birdie told me that Silfrina's partner was attacked by a certain friend of mine at IWF, so she ended up having Jakob as a tag partner. That was a good match, but Danny screwed me, and that's how they got the win. So if I had a different tag partner, I probably would have won, but hey ho.
So there's not going to be no reunion between you and Danny. Is there no reunion between you and Danny?
Oh no. I don't want him as my tag partner now. He's a very nice person, but I wouldn't want him as my tag partner after that. But Selfrina and Jakob were all partying and dancing afterwards, and I wasn't best pleased.
Understood. And you had a 2 out of 3 falls with Silfrina that you said you've never been a part of. So this was the first time ever for you where at the IWF Gauntlet where Silfrina won, and this was probably one of your favorites there out of all the encounters, right?
It was because the stipulation I've never had before, so I was like really buzzing with the idea because obviously I like to put in new stipulations in my matches as and when I can. and the fact that obviously I wrestled Selfrina with it, it was really good. I literally was like a fraction away of winning, but obviously the better woman won, and yeah. All I can say is that she deserved it at the end of the day because she worked her ass off for it.
Said, well said. And now we're going to go on to your matches in FCW so far, and I have 11 listed here total. Then we'll get to the rest of my questions, and then we'll talk pod. But first up, we have the FCW Women's Tag Team Championships, where Bella and Hayden Morgan took on you and Leonie Rose, where Bella and Hayden Morgan walked away victorious.
Yes, they did. Me and Leonie never worked together before, so we were very new to obviously tagging together. It was a very good match from what I could remember. And yeah, I wasn't best pleased that I lost, but obviously, like I said, the better women won. And yeah, if FCW ever brings the women's tag team titles back, then I'll be doing a tag tournament for them at some point, hopefully.
Why'd you guys get rid of them, if you don't mind my asking?
It was just it was we couldn't really find regular women. Like with Hayden and Bella, Hayden was struggling with work, and we couldn't put Bella with someone else, as obviously those two won the tag titles together. So we just disbanded them for now. They're still on the back burner. They've not completely been like completely out of history. They've just been put on the back burner for now, and hopefully after this all women show, we'll have a few more women to obviously do the tag tournament in hopes to actually have women's tag titles again.
Awesome. Well, I do want to point out, when I was interviewing Sofrina, she said she wanted the team with Lilith, and Dagon gave kind of permission to do like their Lilac Legion. So I mean, there's somebody that you should keep an eye out for, Lilith and Sofrina, if they ever do team up.
Oh yeah. I think they'd be a force to be reckoned with, to be fair.
Oh, most indeed. And you were also part of the FCW Women's Championship four-way gauntlet, which featured you, the champion Kirsty Love, Violet Knight, and Bella, where Kirsty retained victoriously. And you said you don't like to mess with Kirsty.
No. That match was hard hitting on Violet Knight and Kirsty and Bella's point, and I took a pretty nasty German suplex off Kirsty, and yeah, I don't want to get on the wrong side of her. It was a really good match, though. I loved it. I loved the match, and obviously Kirsty won. I'm not sure who she pinned, because I think I rolled out the ring after taking that German suplex because I think I died. I was alive, but I think I died.
You knocked the wind right out of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And there was another FCW Women's Tag Team Championships match where you were in there again, where you teamed up with Chica Valadora, and you took on the champions, of course, Bella and Hayden Morgan, where Bella and Hayden retained again.
Yeah. Chica was a very new young lady. She's still very, very talented, 100%. I wouldn't falter on that. But I think the bad guys of Hayden and Bella got the better of us, as you know, we got our backside handed to us basically. But like I said, never say never, and you know, we'll hopefully cross paths, all of us together again at some point. But it was a really good match. I did like that.
Now, this was the first ever Calder Valley Women's Championship contested in a fatal four-way, featured you versus Sophia Sword versus Bella versus Anna, where Sophia Sword became the inaugural first ever.
Yeah, Yeah, she was. Yeah, she she worked her ass off for that, as she was training her ass off, um, helping out when she could, and in the match, like I said, she worked her ass off. She never worked a fatal four way before. Um, we looked after her. Bella and I obviously knocked 10 cans of bells out of each other. Those two knocked 10 cans of bells out of each other. We somehow swapped, and 1 minute I was wrestling Anna, the next minute I was wrestling Sophia. It was a very fast paced, not fast paced, but it was quite a complex match. And I believe she won with her top rope crossbody, that she was practicing for a good few weeks beforehand, with help from my partner Rob, at obviously FCW. And yeah, I obviously saw her win, and I thought I may as well go in, obviously show my like my wells done, so to speak. And yeah, she deserved it at the point. Yeah.
And then after that match, there was another match where you and Sophia teamed up against Bella and Anna, where Bella and Anna won. And if I recall, Bella and Anna were pinning both of y'all at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't best pleased with that. um, but no, it was nice to tag. It was nice to tag with Sophia, as she just come off obviously winning the Calder Valley Women's Championship, and then obviously tagging with me. I thought, oh, we'll end up getting like a double win, so to speak. Um, but no, that match was hard hitting again. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, we got squished. But again, we could cross paths again, all four of us. It's just a matter of time. But it was a good match. I did like it.
And then you had yourself another tag match where you teamed up with Skylar Jane versus Bella and Scarlett, where you and Skylar walked out victorious.
Yes, we did. Yes. It was a good one. We we were obviously no. Hold on a minute. Was it Scarlett?
I wasn't it? Did I not say Scarlett? Did I say somebody else?
When me and Skylar tagged,
It's
it was
a,
against Chloe Nightshade and Jessie Quinn.
Was that?
Pardon?
Was that?
The
Okay.
the tag match.
Okay, I do have another tag match where you're talking about, but I swear there was another one where it was you and Skylar
Oh
versus
yeah,
Bella and Scarlett.
sorry, yeah, that was it. Sorry, yeah, that was the December show. Sorry, yeah, my bad. I forgot about
You're
that one.
perfectly fine.
That was literally the
But we
day
can also
after the
talk about
match.
that one too. We could talk about that one too if you would like.
Literally that match I had with Scarlett and Bella was literally the day after I had the tag match with Anna and Bella. That's why I got a little bit confused on my side.
Okay, no worries.
But no, that was a good one. We got off. We were victorious. Funnily enough, that was actually Skylar Jane's debut at Firestar,
Okay.
so that was a good one.
And then there was the tag match that you brought up where it was you and Skylar versus, because originally it was supposed to be Sofrina, but you replaced her in the match where you teamed up with Skylar against Chloe Nightshade and Jessie Quinn, where Chloe Nightshade and Jessie Quinn won.
Yes, as Selfrina, it was she was booked somewhere else, hence why I was putting her in her place. That match was really good with Chloe and Jessie. Both really good workers. The chemistry with me and Jessie worked well because she's quite a diva when she's in bad girl mode, and she got over with the crowd a lot because everybody hated her in the nicest possible way. Like she did her job right to be hated, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, it was another good match. I wasn't best pleased that obviously I took the pin. But Skylar understood that it wasn't my fault. and we ended up hugging it out at the end. So I think we're good now.
And you had a match against Harley Harris where you won.
Yes, I did. That was at our Greetling Community Centre. Me and Harley. That was not a slugfest, but it was a very hard hitting match. I tried to go for my crossbodies, didn't work. I did manage to do my sunset flip though, but I didn't manage to get the win for that. But I carried on and I managed to get the win after I pulled her off the top rope because she was taking forever. But yeah, no, it was a really good match.
Now you also had the Calder Valley Women's Championship match where it was you versus the champion Sophia Sword, where Sophia retained.
Yes, that was more of a face versus face match where we were both the fan favourites, which can be a little bit difficult working obviously good guy and good guy, but we made it work. We had fun. We stayed safe, and again, her hand was raised at the end of it, and obviously respect was shown at the end of the match because I raised her hand as well because she worked her ass off to get the win over me, and yeah, it was a really nice match.
And now this next match, this led to a series of things that we talked about a little bit. So this was for the vacant women's championship. It was you versus Scarlett, but it ended in a double countout.
Yes, that was uncalled for, but it was a heavy duty match. I think we just both got carried away because we were both levering each other on the outside, and it wasn't. I don't think we were listening to the ref at the time because we ended up getting a double count out, which obviously the pair of us wasn't aware of because we were too busy beating 10 cans of crap out of each other, so we didn't hear him. And yeah, it should have been one of us at least getting the pin, but well, things happened on it.
And then that's what led on to your guys' rematch for the FCW Women's Championship, which was a chain match where you took on, of course, it was Summer Rain versus Scarlett, and Scarlett walked out the champion that time.
Yeah, that was the rematch because at the end of the previous match, I went basically to upper management and basically said, obviously want a rematch, and obviously Scarlett said the same, and it was originally going to be a strap match, but I upped it a little bit and put it as a chain match instead because we needed to settle it, and it was Skylar Jane that was the special guest referee for that match. So she was overseeing obviously the match. It was the hardest match I've done because you're basically tied to your opponent, and we literally was tied to each other. Like the cuffs on our wrists literally were like small belts, and they had a little bit of wrestling tape on the clasps as well. Move, cat. And then we had the big massive chain. So it was the first time for the pair of us working like a chain match, and
Yes.
it was a really hard match to do, obviously, because we did moves and you had to make sure that obviously the chain didn't like land on your opponent, or like it was a lot to be aware about of even, but it was a very good match. But from the match footage, I got knocked out at the end, so I don't quite remember it, but it was good. And obviously she took the championship, which is fair game, but she's not getting too comfy right now because you never know, because we've got that women's show, and I did say previously that she might end up losing it there, or she might lose it a little bit down the line. You never know.
Most indeed. Now, going through that, Out of all the matches you've been in, can you give us your top 5 to top 10 matches that you've had so far?
I'd say the Holly Harris match, the chain match with Scarlett, the tag match with Sophia and myself against Anna and Bella. I'd say my TNT match with Skylar Jane. My 2 out of 3 falls match with Sofrina at RWF. They're like my top 5 like favorites that I'd love to do again. Unfortunately, I don't have 10 favorites, but I do have the top 5 there that I've just mentioned.
Well, speaking of more top 5 to 10s, you have maybe a top 5 to 10 dream matches.
Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. On the independent scene, I'd love to wrestle the Posh Princess, Kiara. I'd like to wrestle Lucy Couture. Who else? I'd say Saxa. I'd love to wrestle Skylar Jane again, but in a possible stipulation match. Not sure what stipulation, but it'd probably be a chain match again, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm not 100% sure. Possibly Holly Harris or Chloe Nightshade. So I've got 6. six dream matches.
Okay. I would love to see all of them in the future. There's a big moments ahead, and there's a big future ahead. And going through as much as we've gone through, what would you say are the big career moments that you have in your life that still stick out today?
The fact that I actually survived the chain match without like massive like injuries, that's like a top thing for me, because I thought, because we were doing it for the first time, we'd get like really beat up, but thankfully we didn't. And I think that's like a credit on the pair of us. So if I managed to do another match like that, I'd know how to keep safe. So I think that one sticks out a bit more to me. And I'd say the 2 out of 3 falls match with Sofrina I'd love to happen again. Wherever, obviously it might happen at IWF, it might happen at FCW, it might happen at Bolton, I don't know, it might happen somewhere, but I'd love to have that stipulation again with Sofrina. But all the other matches I've had, I'd happily do them all again. Like, there's no like absolute favorite. Not yet anyway, because I don't know if I'm gonna have any more like really whopper matches that I'm gonna be like, holy shit, I actually really found that match amazing, because the matches I've done now I'm really proud of, regardless of whether I've won or lost.
Well said. Well said. And how do you handle your personal life with wrestling life?
With difficulty, because some days when we've got shows, my son, he's only 3 years old. He's not exactly the best person to travel with sometimes, because obviously they get cranky. They want to eat all the time. They want to eat loads of sweets, then be hypo. But it's just more obviously juggling him with obviously driving with my partner and my stepson, because 9 times out of 10 my stepson's on the same show as me. So it's my partner that drives, and it takes a toll on all of us as a family unit. But it's more the fact that I struggle to travel alone, as I struggle with like anxiety, like with public transport. So I can't really travel to shows on my own, like without feeling like poorly. So I usually go with obviously my partner, and then obviously either my stepson comes with us and my obviously and our son. But when we do go to shows, it is a little bit tasking for all of us because obviously my 3-year-old son he's been at wrestling shows since he was like 6 months old, so he's kind of used to being around the wrestling business, so he knows like obviously how things go. But now he's getting a bit more energetic. He doesn't want to sit down, and he wants to do a little bit of running around the venue, and it's a little bit tiring, but it's it's what you do. Like he doesn't cause any trouble. He just enjoys himself, but it can be a bit tiring, obviously looking after him as well as like doing like an actual wrestling match as well, because we've got to take it in turns on like who looks after him. Because if when my partner was wrestling, my stepmom, not my stepmom, my mother-in-law would look after him, um, because I'd probably be wrestling as well. So my mother-in-law would be looking after him. If my partner's not wrestling, he'd be doing the music on our shows. So my mother-in-law would be looking after him if I'm wrestling. And if I'm not wrestling, I'd be recording. And if I'm not recording, I'm looking after the baby. So it's a little bit hard making like a family life work with a 3-year-old, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
It's always wonderful to hear. I'm glad that you're able to figure out ways to go through it, even with the stressfulness of it. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, we talk about dream matches, but do you have any particular goals that you're trying to do in wrestling that you're wanting to do?
I want to try at least go abroad at least twice to wrestle. At least twice. Even once I'd be more than happy. Because I don't really want to I don't want to end up going to Japan, for instance, for like months on end. You know, if I end up having like some like crazy breakthrough at New Japan or whatever Japan, at Stardom or wherever, I wouldn't want to be away from home for like 3 months at a time or a month at a time because it's just not me. But like if I got the opportunity to like say, I don't know, go to Belfast or like, somewhere a little bit across the water, I'd love to. But I wouldn't entertain on going like for long periods of time because I get homesick. But no, that is my goal. Like if I could make it happen at least once, maybe twice at a push, that'd be me done. Then I wouldn't want to go abroad again. I'd rather stay here and do what I can on the independent scene instead of going abroad all the time.
Going into that, is there any other places you have not been that you would like to go wrestle at?
Um, I'd like to get to Full Tilt at some point. Um, I can't remember where about that is, but it's not, I think it's about 2 hours away from us. I'm not 100% sure. But obviously I'm rubbish with geography. Um, but yeah, I want to try and get to Full Tilt. Um, I think that's it really, because I'm more than happy to be where I'm at now at like UWA, IWF, TNT Explosive, Bolton, and obviously Firestar. Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna try and make that goal happen. Try and get to Full Tilt, and then I'll be able to tick that off my list, I think.
Well said, well said. And going into welcome we are and welcome Michael Allison. My final question is that I ask everybody here on the pod: what do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy to be just be yourself, because I was stuck in a box being generic as a generic wrestler. I wore generic gear. I never pushed myself outside of the box. Like, I was basically a plain Jane. Now I've gotten older, I've experimented with like hair colours and makeup styles, gear styles. And I hope that, like, I'm not saying like being all gooey, but like the way I've like evolved as a wrestler, I think if someone can take something away from me and my journey, like changing gimmicks up a bit, the way I style myself, um, then I'd be more than happy and be like to hear if someone says, "Oh, I heard Summer Rain's story," or like, I don't know, I read Summer Rain's book, or I watched a YouTube thing about her that she did this, this, and this to change herself. I'd be more than happy that somebody comes to me one day at like a Comic Con or like at a meet and greet or whatever, at another show or something, and said, "Look, I saw how you evolved, and I'm doing my best to evolve now," because everyone's unique in their own way. It's just how you express it is up to you, really. And I hope that you know some young girls watch this, or young guys, or whoever may want to watch this. Just be who you are, and if you want to be different, be different. If you want to, dye your hair a crazy color for wrestling, then do it. Don't just be like every other sheep. Just go and stand on a rock and be the oddball instead. So I hope that, when I stop wrestling, people be like, "Oh, do you remember that lady who had the orange hair, who dressed outrageous in in orange and black gears? You know, she inspired me to dress like this," and that'd be something to be smiling about, to be fair.
Well said. I just want to take the time to say thank you, Summer, for giving me the time of day reaching out. And this was a true honor to get to know your story and who you are and what you do. And thank you again. And you're always welcome on the pod anytime.
Yeah, no worries. And obviously, thank you again for, obviously accepting and Facebook actually working for you. you know,
God.
so
Yeah.
that's a bonus. That's a definite bonus. But yeah, no, obviously, thanks for taking your time out your day and obviously interviewing me and having a laugh, and obviously hope to catch you down the line at some point.
Most indeed. Most indeed. And before we do get off here, is there any final words you'd like to say before we end this?
Well, to be honest, whoever's watching, just if you're training to be a wrestler, keep up your training. Uh, Basically, if your trainer says you're doing something wrong, take it on the chin and just fix your mistake and just power through. Um, Invest in your gear. Always invest in your gear. Invest in yourself, and just respect everyone who's trying to help you. Sorry to be cheesy, but yeah.
Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we all hope everybody have a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever y'all may be. Peace out.
Peace out.